Looks cool when guys are just wham, 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 just hitting them as hard as they can. Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm standing down here by the river today and I thought I would do a video for you on hook sets. And specifically, the difference between a slackline hook set and a tighten up, reel down hook set. And if you ask me, there is very, very few places in the sport of bass fishing where you should be using a slackline hook set. The slackline hook set really is going to do more damage than good to you. Specifically, you got the potential of breaking off. You could break your knot, you could break your line in a weak spot, and at the same time, you're probably going to blow open the mouth of the bass, which is going to allow your bait to come out fast behind it without getting a hook caught in it. So it's one of those things where you got to know the difference. So specifically what I mean by a slackline hook set is when you throw out there, say I get bit, so if I feel the bite, instead of reeling down to it, I'm just gonna hit them as hard as I can. And when you get that whipping sound, and when you hit them as hard as you can, what happens is, you get that big slackline hook set, and if there's pressure on the other end because of the fish, that's gonna mean you're putting maximum pressure on your fishing line. And when you put maximum pressure on your fishing line, that's where your problems are going to happen. You're going to weaken your line. You potentially could break your line if there's a weak spot. And at the same time, if there's a weak spot in your knot, you can break the knot off. So next time you get bit, do not just reel down and hit them as hard as you can. I know it looks cool, and that's what everyone wants to do, is hit a fish as hard as they can. But you're gonna be in a much better position if you set the hook by reeling down and taking up that slack, applying a little bit of pressure, and then just basically a nice steady pull. So if I feel a bite, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reel down and I'm just gonna pull into that fish. Because all I need to do is get the tip of that hook into that fish's mouth. I don't even need to bury the barb at that point. If I can get the tip, at that point, just the pressure of fighting the fish is going to bury that hook point into the fish's mouth. And realistically, if you're using any exposed hooks, and what I mean by that would be a treble hook, a drop shot, anything where you've got an exposed hook, all you have to do is apply pressure. Because assuming you're using a hook that's relatively new, the point on that hook is going to be sharp enough to drive into the fish's mouth without any sort of slackline hook set. The only true presentations where I think a slackline hook set can be beneficial is if you're throwing a hollow belly frog, so a floating frog, because at that point you have to blow open that fish's mouth to get the front of the frog through to get the hooks buried in. And what happens is that frog collapses. So when it collapses, you're not actually blowing the fish's mouth open as much as you would expect. But if you try a slackline hook set with a 1 ounce weight, you will miss so many more bites because that big weight is coming through the fish's mouth and exploding that mouth open further than the hook is going to come. Too much room for the hook to come through. And because of that, you get a lot of skin hooks and you get a lot of missed strikes. So it's extremely important when throwing something that's got a weedless hook with a bigger front on it. So an ounce, ounce and a half weight. At that point, you really just want to reel down and pull into them. You don't really even set the hook that much. The same goes for a drop shot. If you're drop shotting, all you do is reel into them. And at that point, the hook point goes into the fish and you've got the fish on the retrieve. So it's one of those things, guys. I know we see it a lot on TV. The slackline hook set looks cool when guys are just wham, just hitting them as hard as they can. But realistically, that's not what we need to do. It's one of the reasons why if you fish tournaments and you try to shake fish off sometimes and you've got, say, a Texas rig or you've got a buried hook, you can't shake the fish off because that fish, the pressure that fish has created on that bait is enough just to get a tiny little bit of that hook point into the fish's flesh. And at that point, once it's into the flesh, it's going to keep driving home as the fish pulls against your rod. So guys, next time you head out on the lake, don't slackline hook set. It will really negatively affect your productivity on the water. It's much better to reel down slow, apply a nice steady hook set, and at that point, I assure you, you're going to get more fish catches than you would have. You're going to have a better land ratio than you would have had prior to that. So give it a try, guys. Let me know what you think. Hey, if you disagree with me, let me know what you think in the comment section as well. I appreciate all the comments that you guys put in there. And stay tuned. We'll have another video coming out tomorrow.